will I look kind of grim? Check them out. And I want to look a little bit more like blend in, but like not a ghost. No, that's just from stress. Your streaking percentage. Oh, is that a good way to say it? Perfect as possible. Okay, let me test it out. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another self-tanner review. We've done so many at this point, so if you guys want to see my other reviews, I have a whole playlist of them. But today's review is on a self-tanner that I have been checking out for a while. The reason, it is literally called a dark ash self-tanner. I've never really heard of a self-tanner having an ash undertone, like a gray undertone. So I wanted to check it out, see what I thought. What will this end up looking like? Will I look kind of grim? You know, I don't want to be looking gray. So if you guys want to know my thoughts and opinions on the self-tanner, then just keep watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's jump right on in. So if you guys are new to my channel, I love self-tanning. I am the color of my shirt right now on a daily basis. Summer, winter, I'm always the same shade. Everyone has their summer self-tanner, their summer foundations and their winter foundation. Mine stays the same all year round. I love testing different tanners, different levels like light, medium, dark, different undertones, and just seeing what works best with my skin tone or which self-tanners last the longest. Now, I found this website called MineTan. They have every self-tanner under the sun. They have olive tones, they have mink undertones, gray, blue, you name it, they have it. Definitely check them out. Now this one right here is the MineTan Super Dark Ash Self-Tanner. It retails for $34.95. And I got this on a sale. They always have sales happening on that website, so check it out. So I ended up actually getting this, I think it was like for like either $15 to $17. Very cheap, so check them out, especially if Black Friday is coming up. They're probably gonna have a sale. So the deal with the self-tanner is that you can leave it on for 1 hour to 3 hours, depending on how dark you wanna be. I left it on for 3 hours. I always wanna see how dark these self-tanners can get. So you know you can always be lighter than I am right now, but if I only put on for an hour, you're like, well, how dark can I get? Like, if you're like me, you wanna be dark. I used to play around with the light and medium self-tanners. I like the more like natural look back then. Nowadays, I want to be full throttle tan. And it may change as we get more into winter and I want to look a little bit more like blend in, but like not a ghost, which is my normal color. When I picked up the self-tanner, I had one fear, and that was going to make me look a bit dead, you know, gray. But thankfully that did not happen. This is really, really good for my very fair skinned people who want to be tan. I mention this all the time, but when there are really dramatic undertones, it can make us look a bit funky. I mean, you can look yellow when you have an olive undertone. With red, you can look real red, and God forbid you turn orange, which is the end all be all of all undertones. But this one really helps counteract that. I think it's perfect for all skin tones across the board, but especially very fair people who want a dark self-tan. I definitely wouldn't say that this is a super dark self-tanner. I think that this is a beautifully dark self-tan. An ultra dark or super dark, I would go more towards Bali Body or Glow Pro. Those are really dark self-tanners. But this one is just a really nice dark self-tan. Just a few key things to point out with the self-tanner that doesn't apply to all self-tanners is that when you apply this, when you wait your 3 hours, 1, 2, 3 hours, whatever you choose, you go into the shower, you need lukewarm water, and you only stay in there, I think it says like for 45 seconds. Yeah, lukewarm water only for 45 seconds, and you're not supposed to apply any lotions afterwards. Honestly, if you can do it, I wouldn't even apply deodorant afterwards. I know that's not always an option for us. If you're going out in your day, risk it. Put on the deodorant because you don't want to be stinky. That's even worse. Your tan will then develop over the next 24 hours. And it says regular showering may be taken 8 to 16 hours after application. Just some key notes to point in there. The one thing that might happen if you apply deodorant too early, but apply your deodorant if you're going out into the world. Your armpits might turn white. Sometimes I think it's just the chemicals take off the self-tanner. That can all be fixed later on down the line. You can just put more self-tanner on your armpits the next night. Don't be smelly, people. That's gross. So put your deodorant on if you have to. You can fix it later, wear a long sleeve shirt. God forbid. You guys have seen my Bondi Sands 1 hour self tanner. You know in that video that I said it has a very cool undertone to it. And that's exactly what I was expecting with the self tanner, because it does say that it gives you a cool tone brown tan. And I feel that that is one of the most natural looking self tanner colors on very fair skin. If you have very olive tone, you can do more the goldens or even red undertones, and those work with pale skin, but I feel like the most natural looking tan on a fair skin person is a cool undertone. So I was excited to try this out. Now, like I said, left it on for 3 hours. I applied this with a mitt. I apply all my self tanners with a mitt. I did apply this to my face. It didn't cause me to break out this acne that's going on. That's just from stress, not from the self tanner. But it was super easy to apply. Like, look how my hands turned out. I'm very impressed with me. Usually the first time I use a self tanner, I mess up my hands. And then the second time I'm fine because I like figured out what to do. Key tip here. You're in the shower, exfoliate, shave, the whole jazz. You apply what's that stuff called? Moisturizer to your hands, your knees, your elbows, and your feet. And I do that around like 30 minutes before I apply the self tanner. I also do that because when I shave in the shower, I want my pores to close. That way you don't get little like dots all over your legs. Key tip right there. Or like hit your legs with cold water. I do that as well. Then I apply lotion to my hands again right before applying this to my body. And when I get down to my hands, I make sure that there's barely any left on the mitt, and then I just casually swipe. Now I used to swipe in this direction because it's just more of a natural feel to go this way, but sometimes like the skin on your hand can get like stuck. So if you go backwards, it makes it a little bit more smooth. It's a little bit more difficult to do, but just a key tip, if you go this way onto your hand, it tends to turn out a little bit nicer and you don't risk there being a wrinkle. I've had a wrinkle on my hand before where it must have gotten caught and it was just like this little white line. Wasn't the best. Now the self tanner didn't really have a scent to it. I don't really remember really smelling DHA with this one, which was nice. And it says it's streak free, tan for all skin types and tones. Definitely think this is for all skin types and tones. Streak free as long as you don't create any streaks. But if you apply with the mitt, you really limit your streaking percentage. I don't know. Is that a good way to say it? I don't know. But if you guys are new to self tanners and you want to be dark, I know it can be super intimidating, and usually I would say just start with the light and medium self tanner, but I feel like this one is the perfect one for you. This is a safe bet. It doesn't seem to pick up any dry patches. You don't really need to be an experienced tanner for this one, versus the Glow Pro and Bali Body. If you are not experienced, there could be some issues. Another key tip if you are new to this is to apply your self tanner and then 30 minutes later, go look in a mirror and just like kind of do a twirl, look yourself all over and make sure there's no really light spots on you. So that's where you'll know that if you like messed up. Another, or where you need to apply more self tanner. Another key tip is I left this on for the full 3 hours. Like I said, I want to be tan and dark and beautiful. So I leave it on for 3 hours, but around hour 2, I applied more lotion to my hands. This was just to guarantee that they weren't gonna get too dark, and it would also just make sure that nothing picks up on any dry patches. And it's just my little trick for trying to make sure that my hands turn out as perfect as possible. But yeah, so there you go. There's another little tip. I should do a whole video just on my little tips and tricks. So I applied this yesterday. Now rolling into this morning, I washed it all off and then I went horseback riding, and this did not rub off with any sweat or where like, you know, your clothes rub. Sometimes your sports bras can like rub and cause your self tanner to come off. That did not happen. This seems to stay put really well. So if you work out a lot, I would say this is probably a good self tanner for you to try out. I do have one coming that's specifically for working out, so keep your eyes open for that. But if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you guys have heard of MineTan. Do you want me to test out more products on you guys? Look at the website. If you self-tan, look at their website. Half the products, you'll laugh at the name of them, but like you'll also be like, where did you come up with that color combo? Why? Okay, let me test it out. If there is one on that website that you want me to check out, or any self-tanners in general, leave them in the comment section down below. I love when you guys leave me some recommended products because, you know, I might not even know they exist. So bring them to my attention. Hope you guys found this video helpful in your self-tan journey, or just, you know, if you're like me and you just like to test them all out to see which one's the best. And honestly, we've stepped up our game. Well, not we. Companies have stepped up their game with self-tanners. We are no longer Oompa Loompa orange. So I am so happy. Since I am pale as can be, I need some tan. So I hope you guys liked today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ooh. Follow my Instagram. It's at KCElizabeth_YT. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.